The world only behaves as science says it should when we confine our engagement with it to information that is at a great distance from us, like reading the New York Times every day. If you read the New York Times every day, few miracles will occur while you are engaged in that activity. Essentially what is happening is you are getting your cultural programming for the day, all your switches, if any need to be reset by cultural values, are reset at that point. But when we recede into what I call the primacy of immediate experience, the rules and models that we've been handed by science and what's called common sense are just totally found to be inadequate. You can decondition yourself sufficiently to actually step outside the cultural illusion. It's a breathtaking possibility because nobody knows what's outside the cultural illusion. I mean, Plato got it right. We are chained in a cave watching the flickering shadows of something. But life taken with sufficient seriousness and pushed hard enough at the edges, then this stuff will give itself up to you. And it isn't about belief. It isn't about commitment to guru or dogma or method. It's about observational integrity. It's about witnessing and some kind of primacy of self. In other words, you have to believe that you can tell shit from shinola. And when you say it's shit and they tell you it's shinola, you have to vote with your own side. If you are inside a Christian world, or a capitalist world, or a Jewish world, or a Republican world, or a democratic world, these are worlds of ideas. These are ideas. And we can live by ideas, but we can't live by ideas alone. It creates megalomania. It creates unbalance. It creates a grotesque parody of what life is supposed to be about. And what life, I think, is supposed to be about is the reclamation of the primacy of direct experience. And that means sex and psychedelics and dancing and conversation and good eating and lots of exercise and travel and attention to what Wittgenstein called the present at hand. The present at hand, meaning what you can reach is what's real. And everything else, becomes progressively more hypothetical, more abstract. The way you reclaim your identity is by reclaiming your ideological primacy. You are the arbiter of what is real. And if we want to change the world, we have to empower the means that return control to the social atom, to the individual, because that's the only authentic existence that any of us know. I mean, in its most radical remonstrance, I'm pretty sure about me, but you could be anything. You can pull the focus in quite tight. And this is because the nearer you get to the meat, the more existentially vital it seems to be. And, the psychedelics are the tool par excellence for doing this. They connect you back up to the archaic vegetable mind that was in place at the dawn of history.
Whether you like my little story about the Mayans or not, I think it's difficult to deny that something happened, that we have fallen into a peculiar place. And yet there is still the intimation of a transcendent possibility.
It's the process which formed the planet, which called life out of the ocean, which called higher animals out of lower animals, which called humanity out of the primates, and which called history out of tribal, sacral, timeless existence. And what it is leading toward is some kind of apocalyptic, transformative flowing together of everything that is beyond our language system. It's the umbilicus of being. It's where it's all tied together, and therefore it's very hard to describe it. I think that all of our science and our religion and our history, these are patterns thrown across a limited set of dimensions by the hyperdimensional fact of a certain object at the end of history toward which we are moving, to which we are being drawn. I think that most things about man are mysterious, and that what is happening to us is mysterious. The sudden explosive development of the neocortex is entirely out of context with what we know about the rates of evolution that go on in other species and previously went on in the primates. Now it's been very fashionable in the past, 50 years or something, to think that it's all very humdrum somehow. And yet this is just every ideological system that has been granted the status of being the official view of reality has always proclaimed that it had everything nailed down but the last 5%, and their best people were working on that. But I think that we are, for all that we know practically nothing. And that though I am not in any sense not in any sense, but in most senses I am not religious, I think that religious thinking about the transformation of the world is more on the right track than the notion that the laws of physics will always be what they are, the laws of biology will always be what they are, and we're all just going to go along and things are going to get worse and worse or better and better, but that there are no surprises. I think that we do not see what's going on. One of the reasons I like to make this argument about the mushroom and the extraterrestrial and all that is just to show people that maybe this isn't true, but look how you can see things differently. If things can be seen that differently, how many ways can they be seen differently? And to try and get people to realize, to stop waiting for the president to enlighten you. In other words, stop waiting for history and the stream of historical events to make it clear to you. You have to take seriously the notion that understanding the universe is your responsibility, because the only understanding of the universe that will be useful to you is your understanding. It doesn't do you any good to know that somewhere in some computer there are tensor equations which perfectly model or perfectly don't model something that's going on. And we have all tended to give away ourselves to official ideologies and to say, well, I may not understand, but someone understands. But the fact of the matter is only your own understanding is any good to you. I mean, because it's you that you're going to live with, and it's you that you're going to die with. And as the song says, the last dance you do alone. And you want to be in good company then. So it's very important to cultivate this aspect of yourself and to be with it.